Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Scattergram Podcast, where we discuss how society affects the things we like, the things we love. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of those aspects of society that influences the things we like, the things that we think about. And we're talking about politics. And what if I told you that some money that was meant to help struggling Nigerians could have been used to fund terror that we're actually fighting? It sounds like a movie plot, right? But it's not a movie plot. This is a big news in the Nigerian and African social media space. It's about a report or a claim by a US congressman saying that the United States government foreign aid is funding terrorist outfits like Boko Haram. We're going to delve into all of that today. But before we do, please press the like button, subscribe, and remember you're free to join as well. I'm your host, without a boat, Toves. And joining me to discuss about this topic is my guy from America. He's a lefty, someone that Trump will call a member of the radical left party. I don't think he's a member of the party, but anyways, please welcome back the lefty, Sheunti. How are you doing?
It's not fair to call me quite a lefty, but for the purpose of this conversation, I'll take it. Yeah.
Yes, for the purpose of this conversation, he's a lefty, but in real life, he's a moderate. So during the first meeting in the past couple of weeks of the United States Congress Subcommittee on Delivering Government Efficiency. So basically that is a group, a committee that was put together by the United States President Donald Trump and his acolyte, aka Elon Musk, on reducing government spending. They were having a hearing to see which spending is to cut. And a United States congressman called Scott Perry, who happens to be a Republican, accused USAID of funding terrorist groups like Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS. There is no proof, just speculation. But obviously the internet is buzzing with all of the reaction. Is this an accidental leak? Is it just political games? So we're going to be scattering about this. Who benefits from the claims? What is true? What is a lie? And more importantly, who is helping us? Because it seems that we need an aid package for these aid packages. So before we go into it, let me play a clip of the United States Congressman Scott Perry making this claim about US aid.
Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Because your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding.
Okay, that was Scott Perry making a bold accusation without providing evidence. This claim as making the rounds, and why some people are saying, is the Republican agenda to kind of cut all of the government aids and do what everything Donald Trump says, but some other people believe it to be true. But before we also start pointing fingers and also hear from the Nigerian side, I want to hear Sean's take on this. Do you think it's true, or do you just think it's just politicians politicking as usual?
I think it's worse than politicians politicking as usual. I think there's an active campaign by Elon Musk and people like him to make the public less informed and generally, just for lack of a better term, stupider on issues. And it's done through things like this, right? Just straight up complete outrage farming. When somebody relying purely on innuendo makes a suggestion and people run with it basically because it affirms their bias. What the congressman was doing there was calling on you and I to use our quote-unquote common sense to draw connections between things that he himself is not able to establish proof for. And that's for me where I stand. He has an agenda that he's trying to prosecute. If it fits a preconceived narrative that you have about the role of the West in destabilizing Africa and Nigeria to be precise, then of course you would gobble it up and you believe it. But I encourage people to think about it briefly for a second. We know who is funding Boko Haram. We know them. They're in the current government, right? They are the people who have expressed a desire to Islamize Nigeria. They are the people who, based on all the reporting that we know, are going into politics with the express intent of turning the rest of Nigeria into, an Islamic caliphate. So you don't need to look to America necessarily to look for those that are funding and are supporting Boko Haram. They are in your government. You know them. We've heard about them all the time. And if you think about it also for a few other minutes, you realize that like it doesn't make sense for the West and or America to be funding Boko Haram in one country and fighting against the same Islamic terrorism in other places. But hey,
I have a government official that has something to claim, that claims contrary to what you just said. Basically, claim everything you just said right now, but we'll get into all of that. Just a quick reaction from Mr. Nelson Epizi. Welcome back, Nelson. I'm sure you saw the clip. You know the clip I'm talking about of the U.S. government congressman claiming that USAID and other foreign aids are actually funding terrorist group like Boko Haram. What was your initial reaction when you heard the news? Do you believe it to be true? Do you think it's just politicians politicking, or it's just, as Shevon said, it's just to rile up everyday common man to kind of draw the lines between point A and point B?
So yeah, I think every part of what you said is accurate, but to what extent is it accurate is what I don't know. So yeah, in Nigeria during COVID-19, we experienced where there were COVID-19 palliative and quote and unquote Indomie noodles that was supposed to be shared to people that were less privileged, and we saw our government stock this up in warehouses around the country. So people had to loot to realize that, oh, okay, we have this at our disposal, but it wasn't given to us. So let's connect it to the USA. Like Sean said, they are just trying to rile you up to allow you gobble up whatever information they expect that you already have, and also to in a way distract you from their own agendas. So yes, it's still politics. Yeah, they're all politics. But in the real sense of it, I am forced to believe it because you see, and I'm talking from the Nigerian perspective. You see all these Boko Haram boys, and the currency you see with them is not naira, it's dollars. Yes, I know somebody in Nigeria is funding it. I know political activists are the ones funding it. But I'm also knowledgeable enough to know that Boko Haram is just a facade or facade for the government to do whatever it is that you're doing in that part of
Right.
Nigeria. African countries and Asian countries are actually very rich in natural resources. And before now, they used colonialism to cut away all of this from us. But there's a level of exposure in the world now that will not allow a white man to come and impose whatever rights he has, that he thinks he has in his head on us blacks. So the way they do this is they create a problem that we have to focus on solving while they
Right.
cut away with our natural resources. This
Okay.
is still done by the help of our people, our politicians. So there is no way they are doing any of this without the help of we Nigerians or we Africans ourselves. But the Boko Haram situation, because a president of Nigeria once said something that if, or a past president once said something that if there's an insurgence in a country such as Nigeria, the president knows the source of the insurgence or the cause of the insurgence under 24 hours, max 48 hours. So you cannot tell me that Boko Haram has been troubling us as a nation and we've had two or three presidents experience this over the course of 8 years and they've not been able to stop the situation. So it is because some people are benefiting from this chaos. And
Right.
how do they benefit from this chaos? They fund these boys to disrupt the peace of the society. A soldier, and this is allegedly, a soldier told me that allegedly, please, because I would not be able to bring him in. A soldier
Yeah.
told me that he quit being a soldier because of this situation. Because generals are getting fat and the recruits they are dying on the battlefront. As war fronts, you see, for instance, now the way he explained it to me to a layman, he said the phone iPhone, there's iPhone 6 and there's iPhone 16. That with the Nigerian army, what we probably have is the iPhone 6. And what these people are fighting with Boko Haram, so to say, is probably battle between the 10th to 16th generation. So the battle is not even. It's like bringing a gun to a knife fight. No matter the training you have. Do you understand? And where are all these boys getting this? Where are these boys getting these weapons from? Where are they getting the weaponry from? Where are they getting the dollars? Every time they catch a Boko Haram guy that says he wants to surrender himself to the government, he need dollars in his pockets. Who gave him this money?
Exactly. Let me build on that point. Because I know Shenwa has a very, very short time with us. He's talking about why would the NGO why would they want to help at the same time benefit from it. I want to play a clip from a general, one of the chief of staff of the Nigerian army, talking about NGOs and the part they play in all this kind of insurgency. I'll not play all of the videos, about 3 minutes long, because I know, like I said, you have a short time with us. So maybe that will kind of provide some answer or clarification to the question that you asked.
Well, yes.
NGOs, there are so many things. If we want to go into NGO issues, there are so many things I had. Initially, when the NGOs came in, when we started, they didn't want any oversight function. They didn't want us to know where they were going to. We had issues with that, because now they will go into the enclave of the terrorists and go and treat them. You are treating the same people that is attacking the communities. You tell them, no, that you are neutral. How neutral can you be? We've had situations where allegations of arms, them conveying arms to us just to make sure that the war continues. We've had situations where they will tell you they are taking food to communities. Halfway, they will tell you the trailer has broken down. By next morning, the trailer is empty. And that vehicle that is broken down, the driver will just go and drive it and take it back. So what had happened? You have funded those guys. You are taking care of them equally. We've had several situations like that. So we said, no, it can't continue like that. And that's why we insisted with the state government that, look, the state government must know what's going on. So if any NGO comes, it must be registered. We must monitor what's going on. We've had situations where NGOs will come in with unidentified individuals entering communities. You don't even know what they're doing. They don't have NGO ID cards. They are not part of the government. Who is taking them to? What are they going there for? And so by the time we start monitoring what they were doing, we noticed things started getting better. So which means something is going on somewhere. Because they come from all over the world and you don't know who is who. So that's why for every country, please regulate what the NGOs are doing, monitor what they're doing. Most times you hear them telling you that they spent $10 million and then you wonder where. Most times the money is spent on themselves, on their luxuries. The hotels they stay, the vehicles they are using, and all those things. The locals don't benefit much from them. And yet this thing keeps on. I've told you, somebody will come and pay for a house for 10 years ahead. So what is he trying to tell you? This thing will never end until after 10 years, or maybe he will renew it. And again, I always remember that if there is peace and the threat level is low, one, they are going to retrench them. Two, their hazard allowance will reduce. How many of them will want that? We're not saying all of them are bad. No, some are really doing very well. Some are extremely doing very well. But again, please don't just assume they're just monitor what's going on, monitor what's being spent. I think it's important.
Right, so that's for my guy Sean. Do you still believe that the NGOs cannot have a double motive for helping and funding an insurgency? Again, this is a Nigerian general, military general, the chief of staff, talking about NGOs and how they operate within Nigeria. Because I think that's a direct answer to the question, the initial question you asked, like, why would they want to live double lives type of thing?
So it's not that they wouldn't live double lives, right? I'm perfectly willing to acknowledge that NGOs and other such organizations have been tools of the CIA and foreign intelligence services to destabilize, domestic politics in countries that the US has an interest in. So that's perfectly, rational and reasonable to say. I'm just alluding to the fact for this specific issue of who is funding Boko Haram, right? I'm just asking people to put on one hand, the US government is funding Boko Haram. On the other hand, the well-known, well-documented Islamists in the Nigerian government are doing what they said they plan to do, which is to Islamize Nigeria. Which one is more likely to be true?
Fair enough. And what's your rebuttal to that, Mr. Nelson? Because before I say my own rebuttal.
So like I said, there can be two truths to the story. Like what he said now, they're saying that it is trying to Islamize Nigeria and whatnot. No, me, I'm telling you that what they are doing is they are mining gold. I am saying this allegedly, but what I am saying is they are making way, as in they are making billions of naira from Nigeria, cutting away with billions of naira from Nigeria every day. So about that Islamizing Nigeria and all that is that it's a conspiracy inside a conspiracy because you need to explain why these people are here. Do you understand? If you say that they are trying to Islamize Nigeria, why are they killing people in the north? They should come and kill people in the west. Let Boko Haram come to the east. Let them kill the Christians in the east and the west. Let us know they are serious. Don't stay there in Sambisa forest telling me you are trying to Islamize Nigeria from the forest.
No, but like it's no, but like it's part of a process now, right? So first of all, they have compromised the territorial integrity or sovereignty of Nigeria as a state, right? So there are vast swaths of the north that are no longer fully under the control of the Nigerian government because of this Boko Haram situation, right? So they have taken over domestic politics and some significant territory of parts, essentially of the West. A huge chunk of the Nigerian army's focus is spent on containing
Sorry to cut you short. Which part of
sorry
the west?
of the north of northern Nigeria. There are vast swaths of northern Nigeria that have been, taken over by Boko Haram forces. And the simple truth is that like there have been various scares, various attempts, various scares, even some successful terrorist attacks in Abuja and other major city centers, right? It's quite clear that the next evolution of this issue is the herdsmen versus local conflicts that are happening around the western parts of Nigeria. So in many Yoruba states now, there are clashes between local citizens and herdsmen who are grazing from the north, right? And there's obviously the exposure that brings to the terrorism. So it's really a matter of time. It's really a matter of time. This is somewhat what I'm simply alluding to is that I don't think it's in the interest of America to fund Boko Haram.
Right, so I kind of disagree with that one because this is not a new situation because there's already historical precedents for this thing. We've heard about the similar issues in Afghanistan or Syria or Libya. Like, it's not like it's a news that foreign aid is being used to kind of, okay, we are going to help them there, but actually we're taking those oil, we're taking their resources, we're taking their gold, we're taking all of that stuff. So, and also it helps to keep Africa the way it is, like destabilizing. Like we've seen and heard stories. Obviously, that's not going to be confirmed. That's why it's called deep state. of several governments, Hillary Clinton and Obama government trying to destabilize other regions. So I don't think Nigeria is too insignificant a country for them to be like, okay, we're going to destabilize and take resources from there. So I kind of disagree with that. I know there's some monetary benefit even apart from like destabilizing the country from progressing. There are also like international arms dealers that will benefit from, all those arms they were selling military weapons, because if there is peace, as the general said, there are lots of people that are going to stop eating. There are lots of people that are going to stop making money from all of this conflict. So there is precedence for it to happen, and I'm not just going to cast doubt.
So can you even remember when Boko Haram started?
Maybe like it's almost 20 years now, if I would think.
So you're saying it started before Yar'Adua?
Yeah, I would like to think so.
Okay, good. So you're telling me that we've had 4 presidents come sit down there and nobody could really solve just one problem.
Right. And now that takes me now to
That's my first question. Then my second question is to Sean regarding the X-Men. So you need to understand that every government, okay, this is not a question, it's a statement. Every government has its own peculiar problems. There are cabals that will try to make your governance a nuisance, basically. So in the situation of the headsmen, we had a president that, quote and unquote, he said he's not a Nigerian, he's the headsman by profession, because he even said it that his wealth was.
He's a Fulani man. It's cultural, yes.
He's a Fulani man. So in the Fulani system, they believe in grazing of cows and migrating their cows around whatever country. Or
They are nomads,
do you
yes.
know that there's actually there are animals?
Nomads,
Do you know that
nomads,
there's a
nomads.
roadmap? Nomads. Do you know that there's a roadmap that connects Nigeria to Niger to Chad, and this roadmap is strictly not strictly, but this roadmap was created by nomads. Are you aware of this?
When I'm saying Pizzle is that
So
the
the reason I'm saying this is the herdsmen problem is a new and different problem. This is a new group of people that felt a little bit more comfortable because one of them was the president of the nation. It gave them some level of entitlement and it gave them room to roam freely with their cows. I live in Abuja and I kid you not, you could be driving on the express and you need to just park because cars are passing. Bear in mind, this president left. Tinubu sat on that seat and this reduced drastically. Ask anybody that lives in Abuja. You still see the cows, but it has reduced drastically because somebody else has addressed this problem. But for some weird reason, everybody has turned a blind eye to Boko Haram and they are now serious warlords that nobody can stop. Even one time we were asking the Americans to come and help us. They said they sent some troops from. With all the movies I watch, I promise you, we just need like one SEAL team, and Boko Haram is gone.
I'm going to play a short clip from someone who was a minister of foreign affairs. Right, he's talking about what he saw as a minister of foreign affairs, and this is an interview from Arise News TV. I'm playing a clip from there.
In this murky world of intelligence, secret service, what have you, you will never get the truth unless documents are declassified. That's what they call deep state operations. I don't. All I can tell you is, when I was serving on that Boko Haram committee, there were things we were told, which I even found alarming. But as I said, my focus was on the French, because it is the French that have had this tradition of trying to destabilize Nigeria. Dollars that were found on these Boko Haram people. There was an episode where a helicopter crashed in one of these northern states. And it was plenty of dollars that were scattered all over the place. Now, that doesn't mean that was the Americans who were on that plane, because there are so many organizations who use the dollar, and I will not be surprised if various security or intelligence organizations or people who are involved in all these dark shade operations will use the dollar to cover their tracks and so on. So it does not mean, and that's why I didn't jump immediately that it's the Americans who were up to this until this congressman said it. Now, if I'm not going to believe the congressman about operation, and this is a congressman who has access to their own data, he may have his own motive for what he's saying and for what he's doing and for why he's saying this. But if I'm not going to believe him, and on the grounds of that, we then end up with, we don't know. Well, if we don't know, then who will we believe? Then even when we say documents that are declassified, how are we even sure that whoever wrote those documents is telling the truth? You see, we are not going to get 100% certainty when you are dealing with intelligence operatives and what they are putting down on paper, some trying to cover their tracks, some trying to implicate, the others. As regards to your question, what do we do now?
Right. You know, as they say in Nigeria, he said a lot. And he actually covered a lot. Because he covered the aspect that, yes, the senator might have his own personal agenda, But if you can't believe a US congressman who may have some access to some files, who are you going to believe? And he also mentioned to say that,
Rudolph,
you know,
Rudolph,
it
what does
seems.
that even mean?
Huh?
Please retract that statement. If you can't believe the US congressman, what are you going to believe? It's the US congressman, Jesus. Please, you can
Please
lie
stop.
too. But
Please.
I believe him on this. But please don't use that line again. It just makes it gives me the what?
Okay. So it seems like some suspects that, like the man actually suspected that he always blamed the French people because he believes, in his own words, you heard it, I'm not saying anything. He said that he has always suspected that the French have been the ones trying to destabilize Nigeria. So whether it is the French or other foreign nationals, that foreign powers that are involved, if this is true, we need to ask why. As Nelson said, is it about just controlling resources, arms deal, or is it about strategic influence? If these countries publicly support Nigeria but secretly fuel instability, you have to question them. What's their true intention? Because at this rate, NGO might not mean non-governmental organization anymore. It might just mean now government organizes or now government organizer. Abi, how you see him, Nelson?
Nah, government
Now,
organize
government organizer, NGO.
organizers.
Hmm.
Really, nobody's actually going to know the actual truth
Yes.
except the NGOs. But I stand firmly on the fact that somebody is benefiting from this.
Yes, that
All
was going to be
that,
my
all,
question. Yeah, who's benefiting from all this confusion? Who's benefiting?
so you see, it's easy. It's easy. The biggest benefactor is somebody probably like this last video we watch now. Maybe somebody in France, the government of France, the government of the America. See, these people colonized us. Why do you really think that in their core they are now good people? Why do you honestly believe that the same people that colonized us and we are still receiving some of our stolen artifacts like artworks that is stolen in Benin City. They are telling us to come and rent it from them from the museums. These things still happen till today. Why do you honestly believe that it is not possible for this person to give your brother man money to buy a gun to shoot you, knowing fully well that you are your mentality is not developed enough to be able to comprehend that this person is just causing a divide in your nation? I strongly believe, see the story of Gaddafi. Man was trying to create one currency that Africans will spend. Because
His country was sorted. His country was sorted. Wanted to help other Africans to sort as well. But yeah,
yeah, he got killed. See, what's the name of this president of the United States? I think that got shot. Um, is it
Kennedy,
JF Kennedy? Yeah,
JFK.
wasn't he the one that signed the 40 acres and a mole? Um, um,
I don't know. I can't confirm. But yeah,
so I think he was the one that signed it because after that he died, and the whole idea was shut down by the next president.
I would
So
think
the idea, and
acres and mills would be way before the 70s. So I don't think it'll be
so
JFK.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, there was okay. Don't let me dive into that. But the acres and mills that wasn't given to them was still a part of them sabotaging all the benefits they can get from us as Africans. These people came to colonize us. This cannot be changed. This colonialism is still happening, but they cannot do it the way they did it before because there are now organizations. The world is woken up. There's civilization. There's internet that can just tell the world that okay, this is what is happening in Nigeria. But if you tell the world that it is chaos and it is a religious problem, it is easier to believe than for you to just what other thing can you come up with that will allow you steal from somebody? So this is the picture I have in my head. There are raw materials in this place. Surround people, put people around these raw materials. Make sure they are stopping people from coming into the center. Dude, you just keep on mining. And the soldiers know this because there's always time for ceasefire. And you see them drinking with Boko Haram people. They know this. The generals know this. Like you see them living in life. I told
Allegedly.
you, Ali, allegedly. Allegedly, yes, allegedly. Allegedly, everything I'm saying is allegedly. I know nothing. I am just alleged. But based on these allegations, I am saying the generals know this. You cannot ask Obasanjo, he will tell you the truth. There is no way you will sit down on that seat as a president. Like all you need to do is fucking shut down Zamfara. If the Boko Haram is in Zamfara, close down Zamfara. If Boko Haram is in Niger, close down Niger. What are you saying? That Americans already have tools that they can use to wipe out these people? Is it too expensive or what? They can't borrow us. It's not logical for you to tell me that there's a group of people, just a sect, a group of people in a country that is not going to give the country peace. But the places where they are concentrated is where we have mining going on, raw materials being mined.
Yeah, but on the other, but the other side as well, Nigerian government cannot just go and kill its own citizen. That would be like genocide, isn't it? Like that's another violation that they have to be careful about.
I said something. Ask Obasanjo. There's a clan in Nigeria, the Udi clan. They were misbehaving, raising their head, they killed some soldiers. My guy cleared the whole town. The case is still in court.
Allegedly, yes.
And this one is not allegedly. Google it.
I say allegedly.
I say it's not allegedly. Even Obasanjo will beat his chest.
His thoughts are his own thoughts, not the thoughts of Scatayan podcast. But yeah, go ahead.
Yes, my thoughts are my own thoughts. But we call this Scatayan. So whoever is listening to this should know that I am Scatayan. But you can this as fact. What I am saying here is you can clear the people of Zamfara and move on. If you hear anything about Boko Haram again, then you know there's a problem somewhere. It is the people that are protecting us that are killing us. You cannot tell me that they have been disturbing us for 20 years and their goal is to make, what is it called? What did they say?
Nigeria,
make Nigeria one
Muslim country, to no more Western influence, no more Western.
One religion country, no more Western influence. They don't want education, blah blah blah, all of that. But you don't want Western education, but you are killing people in the north. If this was a true agenda, they should be killing people in the West. But there are no raw materials there. There's nothing to gain from the West apart from books. If you say you are against education, your target should be all the federal universities. Let us know that you have a focus. Then we as a people will know that, okay, we are in trouble. But you cannot come and tell me you are in the bushes in Zamfara, but you are fighting education in the West. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I can beat my chest to say that the foreign aid, let's go back to the reason for this conversation. The foreign aid that they said
Please, let's go there.
has been sent to Nigeria, I can beat my chest to say that it was mismanaged. I do not know how it was mismanaged, but I know it was mismanaged. I can bet you it was mismanaged. You are asking who benefits from this. It is the whole chain of benefactors. The person that sends the money is benefiting from it because obviously he's going to get a kickback. The first receiver of the money, either CBN or whoever receives our foreign aids, is going to get a kickback. The people that are actually that need the aid are the least benefactors of this foreign aid. And I can say this with proof. In Nigeria, there was COVID-19 happening, and we were not giving palliatives. The palliatives were stocked up in.
Please explain palliative, because I tried to Google palliative and I didn't know there's no definition in Google. Bless Nigeria English. Please, what is palliatives?
Okay, palliative were resources given to us by the government to make our lives easy during hardship, like during the COVID-19, and these things included health benefits like health kits, food, because it was difficult for us to move around and get food based on the COVID-19 situation. And this happened all over the world, where the government was assisting the people because they were not allowed to move around. So there were doorstep deliveries. Like my cousins outside Nigeria sent me their packages that they got from the government at their doorstep. Now, in my own country, they lock these things up. I'm talking about the one way I see carton of Indomie. It was already expiring. Like it had like a couple of months before it expired, and you see it written on it, stamped COVID-19. meaning this was meant to be shared to the people for COVID-19. But my politicians in Nigeria, because the elections were fast approaching, and they did not want to have to use their own money in their pockets to facilitate the bribery and corruption of the election or the gifting of people of things in the election. They were stalling. So when it's election time, they just change the wrapping and packaging and give it to us as gifts. Now we gullible Nigerians will accept it and we're excited. Oh, this guy is our person because he's gifting us noodles and bread and whatnot. Whereas he was supposed to have given this to us when we were in serious hardship. Now he's giving it to us so he can benefit him. This is the same thing that is happening now. You cannot tell me that US has been sending us that amount of dollars on a yearly basis, and we are not solving serious health problems in our country. Like, we still have the same health problems we've had for 20 years. Accumulate all these AIDS for 20 years. Tell me one thing, one research that we did as a nation that, okay, oh, malaria is our problem in this nation. Let's eradicate mosquito because through this foreign aid. I know there are things that are going on. I might not be educated enough because I'm also knowledgeable enough to know that even when they mismanage these funds, they still try to create like a buffer. So if they're asked questions, they'll be like, oh, this is what we did, this is what we did. And they've already siphoned whatever amount they want to siphon. So in the long run, you cannot beat your chest to say that they did not do anything with the money. But we know, you and I know, the people listening to this, the Nigerians listening to this Katayan podcast, you know that this Boko Haram thing is a conspiracy theory that they are using to stress us as Nigerians and to siphon our natural resources. Thank you.
People.
This one is not alleged.
Okay, right. That's his own thoughts. But yeah, coming back to the question, who benefits from this confusion that U.S. Congressman Scott Perry has created? I would say, first of all, one, the Nigerian government, because blaming all those foreign powers deflect from the internal security failures that the Nigerian military have failed. All right. Number two, the U.S. government could also be benefiting from the confusion because for them, they can say, okay, as what the Scott person wants to do is to cut all those aid. They can say we're going to cut aids, or they can use that as a strategic deal in Nigeria. And number three, Boko Haram. They are the biggest beneficiary because all those uncertainty and chaos work in their favor to keep doing what they are doing and letting other people take the fall for it. As usual, we like to round up with some would you rather questions. So, Mr. Nelson DePizzo with a tie. Would you rather believe everything a politician says without evidence or spend a week decoding all of the political speeches for hidden agendas? Which one would you rather do?
I'd rather just believe what he said because, honestly, because what are you decoding? I don't even have any information. What are you decoding from what he said? Don't believe it and move on. That's what I've been doing since I was born. The last government was the worst. I'm going to be a better one. I'm going for them.
Well, I'd rather believe everything a politician says without evidence because, like I said, I don't have the time to be trying to decode. We have decode. Yeah, nothing happened. So I'd rather believe everything they said.
I wish for you.
Thank you. Anyways, second to the last one that you must choose from is: would you rather have all government secrets leaked for public knowledge or let them stay hidden but trust that your leaders are doing the right thing?
At this point, let them leak everything.
Yeah.
Let everything scatter. Let us know how much we have as a nation. Let's know if we're broke, if we're poor. Let us know. Let them leak everything. Can you leak it today?
I don't know. I'm only playing a would you rather, so I don't have the genie in the bottle, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll rather let them stay hidden and trust that our leaders are doing the right thing. Mainly because if you have all the information, what are you going to do about it? It's just going to create chaos. It's going to create a state of anarchy. So let them keep hiding.
Don't you think we're currently in a state of chaos and anarchy?
No, we are not. You are still wearing your suit and tie. If you're in a state of anarchy, you trust me, you'll be in commando. You know, you have modern. You will not even have internet to be doing what you're doing right now. Ask people in Ukraine, in the village in Ukraine, whether they're in a state of anarchy. They will tell you. Or ask people in Congo right now if they're state of anarchy. They will tell you, you know. And the last one for the episode, would you rather fight fake news online every day or be a journalist trying to get real answers from the government officials?
So I'd rather be the journalist because from where I come from, those guys, when you get closer to the government and they see that you are getting closer to the truth, they call you to the side and give you an envelope, tell you to relax.
Right. So there you have it, people. You see why the situation will never change in that country, because money and cash rules everything around us. Cream, according to the Wu-Tang Clan. But yeah, you guys let us know which one you rather do. That's it for today. Thank you for tuning to Scatteryan podcast, and hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please press the like button if you're watching and streaming on YouTube. If you're streaming on other platforms, audio platforms, please leave your own comments if there's a comment section, and follow the podcast. I'm going to say thank you to Nelson today and his lovely tie. He should have told me he's wearing a tie today. I probably dressed a bit differently, but it is what it is. Thank you, Nelson, for showing up.
I wear ties
the
on
episode.
Tuesdays if I like.
All right, cool. And also thank you to Sheon T for joining us for the short while. Hopefully we're going to catch up and discuss similar topics in the future. Until then, please stay safe, stay curious, question everything, and use your brain. Don't believe everything they say. SEFA. Peace.